Hi, my name is Null Inquisitor. This video was inspired by Same Old G's last video on Shadowrun and car chases, and it got me thinking, and this is the product, the fruit of this thinking. Anecdote. The first car chase I've ever designed went like this. We were playing Heroes Unlimited revised edition. It was in the 90s. So these these thugs entered the car. The engine was running. We rolled initiative, and my brother, who played an alien female superhero named Shadow Flash, got the initiative. So she proceeded to fly and land just right by the car, and she blasts the car's engine with an electrical beam, a very high voltage and amperage beam. My brother did not roll enough damage to destroy the engine, but a point was made about the electrical capability of the motor to keep functioning after receiving such a high voltage blast. And my logic told me at the time that the motor had to stop. It was logical. So the car chase stopped right there before it began. So to create a car chase was my first car chase was a miserable fail. I had this whole plan out, and it just could not succeed. And I was still a young game master, and I was not equipped with the skills to make that car chase start and go and go and go. For a long time after that, I went to avoid car chases because they were difficult to orchestrate. I was then a real life simulationist at this time, and I realized that car chases in real life are very different than the ones in movies. They are slow speed, things are not happening for several minutes, and they always ends the moment someone tries to improvise or do a stunt. It's the unexpectedness of reality that catches up. That guy tried to run over the lawn of a house to improvise a road, and his bumper and his whole suspension hit like the sidewalk border, and bam, the car stopped running or stopped just functioning, and the chase is done. So I went on to avoid these chases for some time, and then I proceed to play like in the game I presented here, GURPS. GURPS have two volumes named Vehicles for 3rd edition. In these volumes, you create a vehicle from ground up, and it's really a course, a rapid course in engineering. You can really go full on details on every vehicles you can create. One friend of mine joked in the past about the capability of this game, of this book, to create from a generational sleeper colonial starship to a crazy carpet. You can really design every vehicle you can think of in a relative realistic manner. And the 2nd edition is even better. But even then, moving to a better system, I was stuck with reality. I was stuck with doing a car chase I wanted, like in the movies, but I could not do this. Eventually, I've successfully conducted a car chase, maybe a year or two after my first GURPS game. And the way I did it was by asking or telling upfront my players This scene will be about a car chase, so try to play along, please. This always breaks immersion a little bit, but the car chase went great, even with a realistic game and so many stats. I want to show you something. In GURPS 3rd edition, it was really the most simulationist game I could have in my hands, and I'll show you why. You see this page right here? Okay, it's double space, but you can see there is a certain amount of information on the sheet. I'll try to focus here on the sheet. Yeah. This is the Gainamix Raptor ZX, a motorcycle for my first game, my first GURPS campaign. It was an Akira based or inspired cyberpunk supers game, and I created a whole bunch of motorcycle for the players to run in the street of Neo Tokyo. But as you can see on the sheet, there's a lot of information, and poor little young me had problems to run chases, even with my favorite games that was supposed to do everything perfectly. So several years went by, and some days at the beginning of the 2000s, I've read a chapter about chases and rules for chase in 7C, and something went click into my head. Car chases are very much cinematic, and in order to make them happen at the table, I was in need to simulate this cinematic reality and not real world reality. Thus, with this paradigm shift in my head, I was able since to conduct very well crafted chases of all kinds. Car chases, speeding boats chases, parkour in the alleys chases, starship chases, and my favorite of all, free-falling chases to grab the parachute from the other guy. So I've run chases now successfully in games like 7C, Spycraft, Mutants and Masterminds, Savage World, and now GURPS 4th edition. Because the new edition of GURPS is a little bit more cinematic. So all these chases now are cinematic in flavor, and crazy stuff is going on during the chases. And now in GURPS, I'll show you the stats of the same bicycle, the same motorcycle. You see here, I have like 6 stats. And the size modifier plus 0 here, since it's a 0, I could have removed it. I have just what I need on this little piece of paper to run this bicycle into a full car chase. Rapidly, this is the hit point of the motorcycle. The +1 over here I had to my skill, and everything else is kind of like the move, and this is the health or the endurance of the bike. So if someone shoots it in the engine, I get to roll this to see if if the bike continue functioning, and damage resistance. So it's really like the basic stuff. A part of me still like this version because I know the power requirement of the motor. I know what is it running on, in this case hydrogen, or for how long this motor can function, or how many gallons of hydrogen. This is pretty dangerous, but it's like a bomb on wheels, and cargo space, and this is great for RPG. This is really great for a simulation, but for a cinematic game, you need just this. So whatever rule system you use, in order to do a good chase scene like the ones you see in the movies, you need to do several things. And especially if you want to create that adrenaline pumping feeling in your chases. If you're running a more realistic game and you want, I don't know, to do a submarine chase, probably each turn will take a day or two to resolve. But if you want something like in Hollywood movie, television, or like this drawing here, like really cinematic stuff, you need to do several things. First, you need a quick resolution around the table. It must go fast, fast, fast. You should be able to emulate what's happening in the game world. Maybe not at the same speed, but you can have miniature cars, Hot Wheels, and use them to explain what's happening during the chase. If there is a crash or a collision or a stunt, you can use these miniature car, and they're really cheap. I mean, you can have like 10 for $5. In the case of GURPS 4th edition, this is the system. This is the system for conducting a chase. It's basically a contest between the chaser and the chasee. So you take the skill of your driving skill, you add some modifier like the maneuverability or handling or the vehicle or a flat tire or any modifier that modify your skill, and you roll under your skill or equal, and the chasee is doing the same. So this is it. This is this is the system of chase and GURPS. So you need to go fast. Whatever the system you use, you need to quick stuff up. You need to. Second, you need a dramatic system to adjust the chase as you go along, to circumvent bad rolls, unforeseen situation, or negotiating with the players. You see, if something is happening along the way, you can push the chase in one direction or the other. In my case, in my first chase, I could have, I don't know, reward my brother for trying this very good idea, but I could have like wink at him and gave him some XP or something, and just proceed to start the chase and make it happen. Just a little bit, maybe just 1 or 2 rounds, just for my fun, for my participation in the story. Then thirdly, you need the comprehension of your players on what you're going for. Like shooting in the tire first round, no, you don't do this in this scene. You can upfront say it to your player. This is going to be a chase scene. If the player don't seem to get it, you can be very upfront and break immersion if you have to, just to create the scene. But this break of immersion will be very, very small, like in my first successful chase. I just said to my player, this is a chase scene, so go along, and then we start to play, and the scene was great. So it's not so important to have full immersion 100% of the time. Sometimes you have to talk in game terms rule and roll dice and stuff. So you need the comprehension of your player for what you're going for. And lastly, you need to ditch anything that is not fun, or adapt what you have in your hand to work with, and adapt it to your needs. And yes, that means omit rules or house rules. That if you have to make some rules or drop rules, do it. I now believe that personally, I can run chases in any game system now because I don't feel forced anymore to run things as written in the books. I mean, I love my crunch. Oh yeah, I am a Ho Henry guy. Oh yeah, bring some chocolate with some crunch in it. But at the table, once once the game is started, I like to scrutinize my player and study their face and look into their eyes. And if I see something tick, I know that I'm doing something good, even with card chases. So that's why maybe I prepare my game very well, because once I'm started, I don't have to think about it. I don't have to improvise a lot of stuff. I can improvise like 50%, but still I have this all figured out in the back of my head, and I can concentrate on my players. So I'm a prep, maybe a prep heavy GM, but I don't see myself as that. Let's return to our chases problem. So you can allow yourself to change things in your games to make that flow, to make that card chase flow. But that requires from you that you know your game inside out. Maybe. So for that Shadowrun problems, I believe a good solution would be the New World of Darkness way. You could factor, and it's not a response to Samoji, but every Shadowrun player out there, you could factor every little modifier in your vehicle stats and everything into one giant dice pool, and then you could roll one time. You could just roll once, and every hit is the final result of every factor in that very round of everything that could have gone well or not well, and the chasee or the chaser will do the same in just one big giant dice pool roll once. And for a Shadowrun player accustomed to the idea of a dice pool, it's a good thing. So in your next game, try to plan a chase just for fun. You know those orcs ambushing the players, waiting for ambushing the players in the forest? Instead of making them a small band, make them an army of hundreds of prepared orc warrior. But make them very far away, and then make them run at your player like very angrily, and make your players realize that they should run instead of fighting, and start a manhunt right there in the forest, or transform that into a carriage chase, or let them jump into a boat and conduct a raft chase or a swimming chase. The point is, have fun and keep that pedal to the floor, and them tires screaming. And have a good one. Bye.